Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nekozuki Knits podcast. My name is Katie, and today is Thursday, September 22nd, 2016, and this is episode 43. So happy fall, everyone, and hello to all new and returning viewers. If you're new, thanks so much for checking me out, and if you're returning, thanks so much for coming back. It means a lot to me to have, well, viewers every week. So we are just over a week till Knit City. I will be leaving for Vancouver in a week, and I've actually got lots of knitting to show you. Not a lot of sewing yet because I will show you all of the bags I'm bringing to Knit City next week. Just because then everything is finished and I'm set to go because I'm still sewing. I have to have my truck packed next Wednesday night. So literally I am going to podcast and then throw everything that I'm showing you into a box and putting it into the back of my truck that night. And then starting to drive the next morning. Like by this point next Thursday, it's currently 12:45 here in Calgary, or Cochrane. By this point next week I should be I'll be past Golden for sure, and then I should be around Salmon Arm or Revelstoke at this point, about halfway to Vancouver itself, because I normally try and set out around 6 a.m. Mountain time, so that's 5 a.m. Pacific time, and yeah, it's a long drive, but I do enjoy it. I love driving through the mountains. I'm just hoping that the weather is also good. There's quite a bit of snow on this front range of the Rockies right now that I can see from Cochrane. But it'll all be good. The weather seems to stay pretty good up until just after Thanksgiving. So anyway, let's get away from the chatter and actually into projects. So the big one is I have a faux, and I'm so excited, guys, because I finished my Ginny's cardigan. I know I mentioned last week that I had screwed up the decreases around the neckline. I sat up that night and actually, so I pulled out I tanked, ripped back, whatever you want to call it. I ripped back and then I tanked, sorry, there's an end poking out of my button band. I'll have to fix that later. I pulled back and then I picked up the stitches and re-knit the set of decreases like I was supposed to. So now it's done. I just have to sew buttons on. And the lace opened up beautifully. You can actually, I think you can see that against the wall a little bit easier than against me. So it's so gorgeous. I love it. I love the color. Once my hair gets re-dyed next week, it's going to look fantastic. It already does, actually. Yeah, and it fits really well so far. Fingers crossed that it stays that way, because I have had problems with sweaters in the past with the button band. I think I talked about the calligraphy cardigan on here with that I had to rip. Anyway, even if I have it, or if I have, I'm repeating myself, but it's okay. Not everyone's watched all the back episodes. The calligraphy cardigan by Hannah Fedig, I actually had to add more to the button band, and then also lengthen the buttonhole band too, because it was kind of curls. And I'm hoping that this one doesn't do that. It's not as large a button band. The one on the Hannah Fedig sweater is 4 inches. This one's only 2. So I'm hoping it doesn't do that. I found the perfect buttons at Fabricland the other day. Like, first try pretty much. And we were there for like, well, no, not first. It was the first try also. But like, we were there for like 5 minutes and I found them. I was expecting it to take quite a bit longer. So they're bright, but they pick up all the tones of the yarn, and they kind of have their own, it's looking fairly flat on the camera, but it kind of goes through a gradient of like that pinky color from the sweater, so like in here, to like the purple as well on the edges. Yeah, it's looking really flat on the camera. It's got way more dimension in person, and it looks fantastic on the sweater. So the pattern did call for 3/4 inch buttons, for 1 inch buttons. These turned out to be 3/4 inch buttons. I tried them out in the store to make sure that they fit, and they fit, so I just went with that. And it was actually a tight fit, so they should be good even if the buttonholes stretch a little bit. So anyway, I'm done. That was knit out of Sweet Georgia Yarns Superwash DK in the Amethyst colorway on US 6 4.0 millimeter needles for the body, and then the ribbing was all knit. Ribbing and the garter collar was knit on US 4 3.5 millimeter needles. I was slightly concerned about first the length because of superwash wool. I did knit it. Actually, it didn't stretch ridiculous amounts. So I probably could have knitted a little bit longer. I did knit modifications I made. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I did knit the sleeves quite substantially longer. I think I went from, I think the recommended length was 17 and I went to around 20. Basically, I just kept trying them on, and when I was actually in this area, that's when I stopped. So that was a good move. They're a little bit long, but that's fine. I would prefer a little bit long, and they're not that long. They come up to about here on my hand, and that's one of the problems I have is I'm broad in the shoulders, and then my arms are long, or at least the extra fabric I have to take up of my shoulders takes up the extra that I would normally have in the arms. I'm not quite sure how it works, but at least on store-bought clothing, that's usually what happens. So I'm really glad that this fits, that I did that extra length in there. The other modification I made is I did not do any bust shaping because I was knitting a larger size. Although after blocking, I probably should have knit the bust shaping because I think it is going to be a little bit tight, but we'll see once the buttons get on. I'm just happy that it's done. Even if I have to leave it unbuttoned, I can still wear it at Knit City and figure it out and redo it later. So yay, it's done, which means that I cast on new things. Well, and I'm working on other stuff. So I'll talk about what I was working on that you've seen before, and then I'll talk about the new whip that I cast on, which you can see tumbling on the pillow there. So the first thing I'm knitting is the second Ridged for Your Pleasure sock, which is currently being knit out of the Ancient Arts Yarns 80/20 Superwash Merino Nylon fingering weight. And yeah, I didn't have this cast on last week. I'm nearly through the foot actually, which I'm quite happy with because I haven't focused on this really. So there's the heel. So I'm nearly through the foot, which will be nice. I do want these to actually be full size. They are a sample for Knit City of the pattern, which you can see kind of here. Ridged for Your Pleasure pattern. And they're knitting up super nice. I was talking to Caroline actually the other day, and I said how like bouncy this yarn is, and she said that what ended up happening is she made a decision about stuff, and it's a much finer merino than you would normally get in sock yarn. So it probably won't be as hard wearing, but honestly for a sample that's perfectly fine. Dallas won't be getting these. These will probably go to Dallas eventually, but they're not going to go to him until after probably a couple show seasons at this point. So that's the finished sock. So I'm halfway through the foot. I want to try and get that done by September 30th because then I can enter it into the Brown Bag Sock Club by the Knit Girls. No, Two Tangled Skeins, the other one. Sorry ladies. But it's the Two Tangled Skeins, and I have 2 out of 3 pairs finished right now, and it'd be awesome to be able to have 1 pair for every month this year. So or a finished object out of fingering weight for every month this year. So that's what I'm aiming for. That will be my 3rd pair, so hopefully I can get them done. Wish me luck. Then I cast on the Lily Pilly by Amba O'Brien. Now I am doing some major modifications with this one because I am using a lace weight yarn instead of a fingering weight yarn. I guess that's not a major modification, but it's a modification. I figured whatever. It's got a halo. It's Sweet Georgia Yarns Cash Silk Lace. So it's a 55% silk, 45% cashmere, and I can't see it. I can see it in person, but it's fuzzy. The Lily Pilly is a 3-color shawl, and it's got 2 color stripes and then like alternating color stripes, and then a lace section. So the alternating stripes I'm making out of lettuce wrap, which is the bottom, and grouse, which is the top. And then the lace section is going to be tourmaline. So I think that goes really well together. I got these on my honeymoon in Victoria in 2014, and I think that they look... I had gotten them to actually knit a color affection, and then I knit a color affection last year, and I went, no, I'm not knitting another one. And I've seen Leslie on the Knit Girls knit the Lily Pilly, and I really liked it. So I figured, meh, I'll knit it out of this. It might turn out a little bit smaller because of the lace, but I'm still using the same size needles. I'm using a 3.75 millimeter, which is a US 5. Yeah, I think it's gonna go fine. You can kind of see the stripes happening there. Sorry, I'm gonna get it unbunched. So yeah, it's obviously very loose, but it's gonna be fine. It'll be nice and warm. It'll also go really, really, really well with one of the dresses I got from Pinup Girl Clothing last year, or 2 years ago, I can't remember. It's a long sleeve Heidi, and it's green and blue and, yeah, green and blue tones. And this is going to go so well with it. I'm super excited to have it done. Even though I've just started. Also, what's going to keep that going a little bit slower is I am trying to practice the technique that I learned in the Yarn Hearts class last year, in the Knitting for Speed and Efficiency. So I'm trying to that's why it's on straights, is because I'm trying to learn the lever knitting technique that I got taught there. And so, yeah, it's going to go a little bit slower. It's not too bad, it's just that I have to watch what I'm doing now, whereas I'm very used to being able to talk and watch and knit all at the same time of something, or read and knit and not have to worry about watching my stitches. So it's slowing down the process a little bit, but that's okay too. I can definitely feel that there's less strain in my arm, or like in my hand and wrists, and that is a big improvement as well. I do see a chiropractor quite a bit, and a lot of my like tension and pain come from upper shoulders, because all of my work is forward work and it's usually down as well, whereas the lever knitting I can sit up and focus on being in a good posture. So that's a good improvement, and it's something that I definitely want to embrace and continue in my knitting as well. So yeah, super luscious blend too. Like, it's so soft, guys. Absolutely unbelievable. I can't wait to like have it done. Although I'm actually really enjoying the knitting of it too. And granted, it's probably not the best yarn to necessarily learn on, because there won't be a lot of bounce because of the high silk content. It's also fuzzy, but at the same time, the fuzz also helps that the stitches aren't going to drop as easy, and that helps a lot actually. So yay! Alright, so that was all the whips and faux for this week, and I'm really happy to have that other cardigan, like the Ginny's cardigan, done, because that means I've actually finished 2 cardigans this summer, and that is fantastic for me, especially considering how busy the business has been. So we're going to go into reading, and then I have stash enhancement, and then there's a little bit of chatter at the end. So reading, I finished The Empire Storms by Sarah J. Maas. Really enjoyed it. Really recommend that it's an older teen to adult read. There are explicit sexual encounters. Explicit. Even it surprised me how explicit. I don't care, but yeah, I should be keeping to my promise to myself of only reading those when Dallas is home. But I wanted to finish the book because the story was so good. Anyway, it definitely needs a 6th book to finish it off, because it didn't quite end on a cliffhanger, but it's not done yet. And so I have another year wait. Then I did start another book, but I don't know if I'm going to finish it. Again, I'm running into problems with massive plot holes. Like, The book I started, it was something that I picked up last year because I'd heard really good things about it. Sounded good. But then I started reading it and I'm just like, within the first 40 pages, there was something that came up that I'm like, that would solve all your problems. Like, I don't understand what's happening. So I don't know if I'm going to continue with it or not. I've recorded this part 3 times and I've ranted the last 2 times and I'm not going to do it again. But there was a massive plot hole and I fixed it in the first 40 pages and I don't understand why. Like, thank you for all your book recommendations on the Ravelry thread, because even if I don't end up reading the book recommendations that I get, it leads me to authors and any other books that they've read. I do make sure that I actually read the synopsis for the books to see if I might enjoy them. Everything that I've gotten recommended, I'm getting, if I feel like I'm going to enjoy it, I'm getting it through the library, because I feel less compelled that I have to finish something if it's from the library. So I've got a few things on order right now. I'm just kind of waiting for them to come into the library and we'll see. Yeah, if I continue that other book that I'm like, ugh, about right now, I will let you know. But not right now, I don't think. I think it's going to be one of those ones that I shelve for a bit and I'll come back to. But I can't highly enough recommend highly enough, that's the way to say it, the Sarah J. Maas series, The Throne of Glass. Just like I said, older teen to adult, simply because of the content. It is also one of those series where the first book is definitely to hook the readers in, and the author hits her stride really well in the third book. So I would say, like, if you start the first book and are kind of unsure, continue on. And that's where I kind of am with this other one. I'm like, I don't know if I should, because I have read stuff where I'm like, get to the third book and I'm like, oh, I love it. But I'm also, yeah, but the first, like, Throne of Glass book also did not have major plot holes. It was just, the tone was very different from where it goes now. So it was much more like YA, romancy, love triangle with mystery and stuff like that. So yeah, I would continue on with that series if you kind of hesitate after the first book, and I will let you know if I continue on with the current series that I'm reading, which is not Throne of Glass, it's something else. Why I don't give names when I give negative reviews is simply because I know lots of people do enjoy the books that I'm reading that I'm kind of like, eh, and I don't want to make people feel like, oh, I'm like bashing your opinion of something that you really enjoy. So forgive me if I don't give titles. If you really want to know, you can always message me on Ravelry, because yeah, I totally get it. There's a lot, like, people have very different tastes, and that's fine, because obviously I don't like stuff all the time that's very popular either. So okay, let's do stash enhancement, because that's really happy. Not like my reading isn't happy, but whatever. So I got my Ancient Arts Yarn Club package, which is a bi-monthly package. I get one every 2 months. And if you are part of the club and don't want to see anything, I will wave at you when I'm done. So mute me. Or you can listen, and then I will say that it's okay to look back up. And sorry, some of my goodies are tangled up. No, what happened? I don't know how that happened. Anyway, let's just go on. So this month included 2 patterns. Gratin by Caroline Dick, which is a variegated shawl pattern. And then Ice Blue Socks by Cynthia Levy, one of those 2. I'm really excited to knit these, actually, because they look gorgeous. Then there is a set of custom stitch markers. Custom for Ancient Arts Yarn stitch markers that are a mess now. I'm sorry. I was better prepared when I recorded this last time. My favorite one, though, is definitely the Meow collection stitch marker, and then they have one of the Shop Cat, Shasta. obviously Shasta needs to be seen. So if you go onto their website, she's the mascot cat that you see with the kind of, almost called a brindle coat if it was dogs. It also included some Assam Darjeeling blend tea from Tea Trader. And then the yarn for this month is her 80% superwash fine merino, 20% nylon fingering in the Kelpie colorway, and it's so pretty. Love it. So that's going to become a single shawl, like a shawlette, probably one of the Janina Callio patterns, like I knit out of the Joma yarns earlier this year, because I really enjoyed that, and it's such a bouncy yarn. So all right, chatter. I'm organizing a podcast and meetup during the Knit City. During Knit City. It's going to be on the Saturday night at the Press Box Pub at the Atrium Inn. So the Atrium Inn is directly across from the PNE Forum, and basically show up after the marketplace. I've put a time around 5:15, 5:30. I generally can't run out the door at 5 o'clock. That's why a little bit after 5. But if you show up, please grab a table and save me a seat, and carry a seat as well. Carrie from the Knit Pug podcast, or Jaded Knitter, is coming as well. So there'll be 2 of us for sure. Yeah, and we'll be there sometime between 5:15, 5:30. I'll have pink hair. It'll be very obvious. And then it's going to be until about 6:30, 6:45, because I'm going to the Yarn Harlot lecture. But that's the thing. Basically, show up when you want and leave when you want. Yeah, it's very open. If you can only show up and have some water or have a beer, that's fine by me. Honestly, I understand. Saturday night, I'm probably going to be exhausted. Markets are very tiring. I love doing them and I love seeing all of you, but I'm always very tired on Saturday night. So if I'll be there, if hopefully fully present, if not at least partially present, but I will be there. And I hope that you will be too, because the booth, like, I try and have as many conversations as I can, but sometimes it can be difficult to hold a full conversation with someone. And I figured that having a podcast and meetup would actually give people a chance to come and have conversations, and hopefully pull in a few different podcasters, because then you can visit with whoever you'd like to, or as many people as you'd like. I will have buttons, so if you're not even coming to the marketplace, come down and have a beer or food or whatever with me on Saturday night. That would be fantastic too, because I understand that lots of people just don't get a chance to get out on Saturday either. So anyway, that'll be Saturday night at the Press Box Pub, which is in the Atrium Inn, which is across from the PNE Forum, and I will be there sometime between 5 and 5:30, and I will be there until sometime around 6:30-ish, because I'm heading back over to the Yarn Harlot lecture at 7. Yeah, I hope to see you guys there. For this week, I'm going to be hunkering down to finish items. So I'm not going to show you any stock. I'll show you the remainder of my finished products next week. And that's pretty much it. There's a few things that I'll be able to talk about next week, because they just haven't happened yet. Again, most of my shenanigans happen when Dallas is home. So that brings me into shop news. So if you guys aren't interested in hearing that, aren't going to Knit City, whatever, I'll chat with you next week. I will record one more time before I head out to Vancouver. It may be a little bit of a rushed episode, but I will be here. So the shop will be closed from September 28th to October 4th on Etsy. But I have really big news, actually. I'm switching service platform providers so that I can actually sell on my own domain, and so that I don't have to keep putting my shop into vacation mode, which I find to be a very big, it's not a burden at the show, but afterwards it does cause or create a lot more work actually to ensure that my inventory matches. And I have been having some difficulties with that post-show recently. So what's happening is I am switching so that I can sell on my own website, and it's a concurrent system. So if I sell something in person, it will go out of my shop as well. If I sell something in the online shop, then it comes out of my in-person inventory too. So this is a big benefit for all of you in future, because you'll be able to place an order if you see me at a show and then you go home and you're like, oh, well, maybe I did actually really want that. You can go on and actually see if I still have it. And purchases can be made while I'm at a show, so you know that you can get the stock. And yeah, it's a really big benefit for me. It reduces my fees, which right now is fantastic, like monthly fees. And I think it's a really good move on my part. I hope it's a good move for you guys as well, so that the stock is more accurate. Man, I am losing my words. So that's not going to be a wholesale, well, it actually kind of is. I'm switching over. Etsy will still be run at the same time. I will be keeping stock on both sites, mostly. What's going to end up happening is, as items expire on Etsy, I'm not going to be renewing them. They will only be on Shopify. New items will also only be posted on Shopify, simply so I don't have to make sure that both of those stocks also match. But my Etsy shop will slowly downgrade as we go here. So yeah, I hope that you will follow me over there. Obviously, if you're watching the podcast, you have chatted with me, or I've chatted at you. And that will make you not nervous to purchase on another platform. As far as I can tell, it's a very secure platform. And I'm really excited for this move. Actually, I feel like it's going to be a very good move for the business. So yeah. Anyway, that's all for this week. I hope you guys all have a fantastic week, and I will actually chat with you on Wednesday next week, unlike Thursday. So thanks so much, and talk to you later. Bye.